Hello, I'm Matthew Malcolm with California Fruit and Vegetable Magazine, reporting to you from a fig orchard in Madera, which is basically, Madera is the capital of fig production in the nation. I'm here with Karla Stockli. She is the CEO of the California Fig Advisory Board and the Fresh Fig Growers Association. Tell us about the orchard we're in.
Well, this is actually a Black Mission orchard that we're in today. And when you think figs, think California grown. California produces 100% of dried, but 98% of fresh figs grown commercially in the United States. And right now, the orchard we're in, it's peak season here in California.
Well, that's great. Figs are a drought tolerant crop. And where would we be without Madera, which is the epicenter of production here?
Correct. And so despite the droughts, which again, we've had a dozen years of drought conditions, some devastating fires, this year, because of 2 years of adequate rainfall, the crop is absolutely beautiful. So what we're looking at right now is, what are we going to deliver? We're going to deliver great quality. The yields are higher, so that means more fruit to meet demands. And so the industry, the growers are pretty excited. Figs are trending, and that's helping with demand. But this year, it looks like we're off to a great start.
Well, that's amazing. As far as the market goes, you're saying we're looking at a solid crop, even bigger than what we've expected in the recent past?
Correct. Yes.
And how's the market going to receive this? Really well? Price-wise, a lot of growers, I've talked to are asking, well, what commodities are doing well in California? It's been really tough years with inflation and some market access issues over the years and the pandemic. And so looking at the fresh fig market, is there hope there?
So absolutely. Fresh figs, when you think of the pandemic, we did very well. And so when you think of fresh figs, consumers seek out fresh figs as something that is seasonal. And we always tell consumers, or even food service trade, when you see them, buy them, because the season is June through November, maybe even a little bit into December. But this year, the trends are people are looking for fruit that is nutritious, flavorful, and figs deliver that. So we're really right in the sweet spot, so to speak, of the trends. When you think of market pressure, we also export fresh figs. Our number one export market is Canada. So when there's a glut on the market, if you will, we don't really have that with fresh figs because a percent of our market our production goes to Canada, and then we've got that level demand across the United States.
Well, that's pretty nice, and not having to go all the way to China, for example, with your crop, and the shelf life stability of fresh figs. What would you say how that compares with some of our other fresh market crops?
So once you buy them, you always want to put them in the refrigerator, but the shelf life is about 2 to 3 weeks. But again, we always want people to know, put them in the refrigerator. If you don't eat them all on the way home from the grocery store, make certain you put them in the refrigerator, and they'll keep longer.
Great. So, and as far as the trends for growers and what we're expecting acreage-wise and figs, if the market's doing well, do we anticipate some more acreage potentially going in, as we've seen some other commodities removing acreage of, for example, walnuts and almonds? In a place like Madera, where you can grow so many different commodities, is there opportunity perhaps in the fig industry?
There is, and that's an excellent question. What we've seen is some of the crops that use more water than figs. Figs are very efficient users of water, so many of our farmers have planted more acres to meet demand. And that might be the Black Mission fig, which is the fig that was planted here in the 1600s. Does very well. And then our brown turkey figs do beautifully as well and has the longest growing season for fresh. But again, the growers are meeting that demand. Figs are efficient users of water, which gives us an opportunity to use the acres that we have available to us and kind of weave into the fact that we never know if there's going to be a drought or not.
Right. So even if we do have some drought years, the trees are really able to handle it pretty well. Maybe they won't get as much crop, but still the trees will survive, right?
Trees will survive. Yields might be lower, but right now, again, this is probably the best year we've had in a dozen years simply because of the adequate rainfall the last 2 years.
Well, that's exciting. Make sure you get over to the grocery store, get some fresh figs. Thank you for taking the time. I'm Matthew Malcolm with California Fruit and Vegetable Magazine. Read more about it in our publications. Thank you.